All right, thank you very much. I'm sorry, you're probably getting a little sick of me today, but when Grant offered me the opportunity to be at Shark Tank, I was not going to say no to that. So, sharks, first of all, I'm not presenting yet another injectable or yet another laser. No offense to anybody. But what we have been building with EncorVita is actually an entirely new, ready-to-launch operating system for what the CEO of Galderma recently, I quote from the JP Morgan conference, called the next frontier of aesthetics, which is menopause. We believe there's a tremendous opportunity here to actually empower providers to close what is a very real gap in women's healthcare, and that's the gap between the number of women who are seeking care for menopause and the very, very large shortage of providers who are actually trained to do just that. And the numbers are staggering. First of all, this is not a niche condition. 100% of women will experience menopause if they live to experience it, right? So that's first point. Second, 50 million plus women in the United States are going through menopause. When I say menopause, it's important to define. Menopause, by definition, is one day. It's the day that is 12 months after a woman's last menstrual cycle, but there is a 10-year period of time prior to that known as perimenopause. That's when the symptoms are really hitting hard. That's when there's an opportunity to prevent and actually get a lot of protective benefits that come along with hormone care. Yet, despite that staggering number, 80% of women experiencing symptoms are receiving no care or treatment whatsoever right now. And there are fewer than 4,500 physicians or clinicians at all who are menopause certified providers in the United States. So you can see where the gap exists. Despite all of that, the menopause market was almost $6 billion in 2025 alone. Women are spending money, but they're going to where they can find the help. This belongs in aesthetics clinics for a lot of reasons. Aesthetics clinics are used to long-term relationships. Menopause patients are coming in every 3 to 4 months for adjustments, for labs. It belongs in aesthetics. It's a natural cadence. 60% of aesthetics clinics are already in wellness. If you're doing GLP-1s, hormones are a natural fit with GLP-1s. Cash pay experts. Again, menopause is very rarely ever covered in the reimbursed healthcare system. They are paying cash for treatment, and the patients are already there. Our foundation is based on 3 pillars. First is actual medical care. We don't want to be transactional. So many of the telehealth platforms are, give us your credit card, we'll send you estrogen. Women deserve better. Women deserve real medical care, and over that whole period. We're rooted in education, and we believe in concierge service, so we're not gonna do just a 3-hour hormone training and then send you to figure out how to bring it into your practice. Our membership model is an entire year of wraparound support for a clinic, which includes the clinical education, but also the actual practice implementation. And the big picture goes way beyond education. We're starting with education and training. We're going to be launching EncorVita Evidence later this year, which will be a software platform to help the practices actually track patient outcomes and business performance. And then EncorVita Solutions is where we plan to bring actual product into the mix as well from the femtech and women's healthcare world. Very likely diagnostics, wearables, sexual health treatments as well. So what's included in the membership? Comprehensive digital university, 32 modules covering perimenopause, menopause, sexual health, metabolic health. We have a team of medical staff who are ready to actually act as medical liaisons and provide that supplemental live training in addition to the digital. We have clinical protocols that are proven. We have a proprietary formulary, including FDA and compounded options. We have 20 proprietary lab panels, and like I said, you get that wraparound support. And it's based in 24,000 patient records that we have. We have a database with 10 years of longitudinal data that came from a clinic called HerMD that had 25,000 patients over time. They were across 5 different states focused on menopause and sexual health. We have acquired their protocols, their education, and their database. We will also be looking to monetize this database for retrospective studies because we all know that there's more women's healthcare studies needed and the research is needed. Our membership model is based on tiers, and those tiers are based on how many licenses or how many providers within the practice want to get trained. So at tier 1, it's 25,000, but again, that is an entire year of wraparound support. And the way to look at that is if you were going to bring a piece of capital equipment into your practice, you would think of how many patients do I need to treat to pay this off. In our case, it's 5 patients, and it's paid off. We can also add on additional modules, additional licenses for those multi-location practices. And the model for the clinic is, again, these patients are already paying on average $3,500 to $4,000 a year in menopause care. We just want to bring that into the aesthetics practice. Finally, I have to share the team, since I see I'm running out of time here. I have more than 2 decades of aesthetics experience, both scaling and leading companies. We just announced 2 days ago the addition of Dr. Robin Noble as our Chief Medical Officer. She is a leading voice in menopause, very big with the Menopause Society. She's Harvard and Yale and Columbia trained, all 3 of those. She's an incredible person to bring the credibility and all the medical guidance for where we're going. We have a medical affairs staff. We have a medical writer who came from Dana-Farber Research Institute, writing everything, and then practice support. And we are raising $3 million. $1 million of that has already been raised, so we have 2 to go. But almost all of that is going directly to commercialization. Our R&D is complete. The assets exist. We are actually launching our pilot to 10 clinics in about 2 weeks. So the money that you invest today actually goes to bringing money back.
Thank you. I have the first question. Is this a safe note? And if not, what's the pre-money valuation?
It's a safe.
Okay.
Yep, it's a safe. And there's a valuation cap of $20 million.
Okay, cool. I'll be wrong to start.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm a woman, so, right, I'm 45, I'm going through this right now. I think this is such a big deal. Congratulations. With the FDA taking off the whole black box mark right now, I think you're in probably one of the best spaces in this. Women are suffering. I'm in a business forum out of Phoenix with 8 women that, I meet eight times a year on. And maybe only half of us are on hormone therapy, right? And half of them are very scared to do hormone therapy. We all have a different opinion on what hormone therapy should be used, right? So that's another big deal. I'm a big pellet girl. I will stick to that nonstop. So are you going to be teaching within your education? Are you going to be, really pitching a certain type of medication, a cream, a pellet? Are you going to be positioning yourself with different companies like Biote? Like, what is your pitch going to be there? And I'm really interested to hear, your thoughts on that.
No, that's a great question. We are product agnostic, and I think that's part of where our credibility comes from. We see ourselves as a resource and a reference, so we will be teaching our clinicians all of it. Our modules are set up where it starts with general anatomy, physiology. It goes into screening, diagnostics, what questions do you need to be asking, how do you read the lab results, and then it gives a comprehensive overview of all of the FDA treatments, plus the treatments that are not yet FDA approved, compound. We do cover the pellets as well. So our belief is that it's a personalized decision, and a clinician needs to know all of the factors to make the decision about which treatment is going to be best for that patient. Is
there a part of that you can bring in-house on all the medications, right? If you're going to be offering all those, eventually is that something where you could say, we're partners with these companies and you get a % off of that?
We're going to have a sponsored content section, so we will happily work with other companies in this room who want to have sponsored content within our education. We do not want to be in the practice of pushing one over another because we think that hurts our credibility. But when we do bring product in, it's going to be products that supplement and complement. So like I said, diagnostics, wearables, there's some really interesting things happening in the femtech space, and we'll be looking at those to bring into the portfolio.
Amber, congratulations. Two questions for you. Number one, bigger picture, I love the concept of training, right? It's the love language of clinicians and practitioners and makes total sense. How do you ensure that you have a recurring revenue stream after the initial trainings that you're selling? And then 2, you're raising capital, so who ultimately owns this business as you seek an exit many years down the line? How do I get my money back?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first question was on, the training.
Recurring revenue.
Yeah, recurring revenue. Great question. I was expecting that from Ian. That's his favorite question always. No, it's a great question. That we are doing everything we can to build a membership model that is extremely sticky. So we will be offering CME accredited activities once a quarter. We will also have a membership community. So we're going to have virtual workshops on a regular basis where our clinicians can come together, whether live or virtual, and discuss best practices, share, learn from each other. Community equals stickiness. We are also, the price in year 2 and beyond is a lower price. It comes down by about almost 50%, because we do believe at that point the core education is there. However, when we bring product into the mix, that's where we get the real recurring revenue. And they lose access to everything, including all of our hands-on support, if they stop the membership, right? The second question was the ultimate exit. I've already had interest, which is crazy because I don't want to sell yet. We need to actually hit a good valuation before we sell. But this is going to fit really naturally, first and foremost, with a women's health company who wants to get into aesthetics. They are sick and tired of dealing with the reimbursed healthcare world and getting shutted out. They want access into aesthetics, and if we come to them and we have 400 to 1,000 clinics, that's a huge interest. There are a couple of aesthetics companies that are looking to branch into more women's health and menopause care or PE, but I actually see this going to a women's healthcare company.
As you noted, you stole my question on recurring revenue. So my second one is, when looking at these types of business models, I feel like we generally see that adoption is sometimes an issue, and it's generally because providers don't want to change their workflow. So my question is, does this sit on top of an existing workflow, or you're replacing something within the practices, or is this completely new?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. This is a new vertical. Our target clinic is a clinic who has already decided that wellness is going to be part of their clinic, and they have very likely hired or have a nurse practitioner or somebody who is going to be dedicated to the wellness offering, right? Because you do have to get the education. It's a commitment. You have to lean into it. I don't see a busy plastic surgeon who's doing surgery or even injector probably taking this on, but a lot of our first customers all have a dedicated provider who's already doing wellness.
Well, in case there was any uncertainty, I am not a woman, but I think I get the point, and I think from my perspective, there are other examples. Cardiovascular disease, LARC health is one, where there's service-oriented recurring revenue models have a tendency to overpromise on the revenue and underpromise on the expense. So how do you sort of manage sort of that top-line growth and the expense to keep that database fresh and current?
Yeah, no, good question. So we do have, like I said, some of the medical staff. We'll have a medical advisory board to keep it current. But for the long term, this is why I call it an operating system, not just service and education, because the addition of product, which we ultimately hope to acquire or license product to bring in, and the software platform that we want to build, we really believe that that's going to be critical to that revenue build. That's how we scale, to be honest. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.